So this is Fusion Fighters. In this video, I'm going to show what it's like to make a build and the different offensive and defensive options in the game. So let's jump right into it. I know people have been dying to see the weapons in the game actually behave, and so that's the first thing I'm going to show. You can hit people and you can do combos and stuff like that. So let me explain kind of how that works. So right now, you create different equipment for your character, and the equipment is made with different materials. And each material has different stats, like knockback and damage and speed and stuff like that. We're going to slightly change that system in the future, but for now we're going with that. So for example, this sword is created with this material, which means that it has all balanced stats. This sword is created with this material, which means that it has a lower knockback and higher damage. So as you can see, that's the up primary with this one. And then if I switch to this one, it does a lot less knockback, which means that the combos are different. So for example, with this sword, you have to do up X and then nair like that. With this sword, you have to do up X twice because it has a 2-hit, and then you have to do nair. So it depends on your stats on the weapon, and so that's going to change based on the player's play style they want to go for, and also like just what's best for your build. So for example, going back to this combo here, the up X into A, you can also even do that if you can like trace the opponent. This one on this sword is actually gonna be better because you have to do the up X twice to do it, and it keeps the opponent in hit stun for the same amount of time, but they're lower to the ground, so it's easier for you to react. So, and also it does more damage in general, and you have to do that twice. So the other sword, this one's gonna be better in this case. We also have the blaster here. The blaster has some attacks, they're not fully implemented, but you'll see there's this down one in the air that shoots a blast downward like that, which if done right could be like comboed into some sword attacks. So I'll show a bit more about that right now. So you got primary weapons and secondary weapons. Each weapon has a set of primary attacks and secondary attacks. So for example, having the sword here, I'm going to use the primary attacks. But if I put the sword on my secondary, it's going to use the sword's secondary attacks when I press Y instead. So think about that like, and of course it's not implemented yet, like I said. So think about that like how it works in Smash Bros. There's smash attacks and special attacks. And so it's going to be the sword special attacks, quote unquote, if it's in your special / secondary slot, or the main attacks when it's in the primary slot. So let me put my blaster on secondary and my sword on primary, and you see how this works out. So I press the Y button here, and it's going to shoot the blaster now. There's a little bug. If I'm too close, it does that. So shoot like that. I also have a button to reset positions just for ease. Yeah, so you can knock back like that, and then you can like combo it into stuff if you know what you're doing. So I don't know what I'm doing. I know how the moves are designed to combo, but I'm just not that good at the game. So I need to get good. But yeah, so if I switch though, so let me put my blaster on my primary and the sword is my secondary. So the sword has some cool secondary attacks like this one. You charge up and you launch forward like that. And then the blaster has some primary attacks like this one, and I think it's the side one, I can't remember. Oh yeah, there's this down one like this where you charge up and you dash forward like that. It's pretty cool. And then let me discuss the sword's attacks, because the blaster's not finished yet, but the sword is pretty much finished. So primary attacks, we've got this neutral one, which we've done 3 times in a row. And then, hello? 3 times in a row like that. Oh, it's because I had the low knockback one. That's better. Okay. There's also the down one here, which you charge up and release. The longer you charge, the farther the opponent flies. What's also cool is that you can move while it's released, like that. And so if you have a high speed buff, you can become a spinning wheel of death. It also just gives you a little bit more like flexibility with it. There's the up one, which you press twice, and it has those 2 hits. So if I do like this, like I mentioned, oh, this is the high knockback one. So if I do it like that, the second hit is more knockback. There's also the dash attack, which has a good amount of knockback and is good for like ending a combo. And then we've got, what else was there? The neutral one, which has 3 hits like I mentioned. There's the up air, there's the down air, which comes crashing down, which can be used for some nice stuff. There's the forward air and the back air. Back air is kind of good for trying to end neutral because it's really good for poking. And then we got so those are the sword's main attacks. You saw some of the blaster stuff earlier. It's not finished yet, so I won't go over it. But I do want to talk about like these visual options real quick before we go on to the sub-weapons. So we got the male and female skin options. You can also change the color of it to any of these built-in colors. There's some pretty cool ones. And then you can change the eye color too. I like the black eyes, it's kind of cartoony. You also could change the hairstyle and then the hair color. Let's go with something that does not look bad. I like that one. And the voice options too. I know I'm going a bit faster with this part because I know people want to see the actual fighting. So let's talk about sub-weapons now. So sub-weapons are used by your energy up here. So top left, top right, you see player's energy is that circle around their icon. So my sub-weapon right now, I'm going to switch to the default bomb. You use materials with these as well, which influence their stats, and I'll go over more of that in a future video. But this is what the bomb does by default. Just throw it and it blows up. And then there's the missile, which will chase the opponent for 2.5 seconds and then blow up. Even though they both deal damage, they kind of have different purposes. So for example, the missile's purpose is kind of just to get the opponent off you and like chase them around the stage. It's good for stage control. It only seeks for 2.5 seconds, like I said, which I can demonstrate here. If I throw the missile out and then launch them upwards, it hit me. But you see that it didn't curve up to try and hit the opponent. So, but then there's the different modifiers like I mentioned. So we got, here's a bouncy bomb. Oh wait. Here's a bouncy bomb. It will bounce up to 4 times before exploding, which can be good because it covers a lot more area that way, and it's just a lot less predictable for the opponent. So you can do some cool stuff with that. And then there's like a long range as well. I'll show you the long range missile. Long range missile is just gonna throw out a lot farther before it seeks the opponent. There's also long range bomb, but I don't think I have enough energy for that, so I'm gonna build up my energy real quick. I need to actually get good at my own game. Okay, thanks enough. So you'll see the long range bomb goes quite far, and I'm actually surprised I hit that. The opponent's just down, so they were like invincible for a bit. So there's also badges. Badges are cool. Before I show you badges though, I'm gonna show you items, because there are different items in the game, like in Smash Bros. So like if I spawn one of these items here, do I already have the badge? I do have the badge, let me take it off. So without the magnetic badge, you'll see that the items are there, and I walk up to them and press the X button, I can pick them up and use them. So, for example, I press the button here to heal with the battery, but if I have the magnetic badge, then items will automatically gravitate towards me, and I'll automatically either grab them or use them depending on the item type, which can be very useful in casual matches. So different badges have different purposes. This one's better in casual matches. Underdog Boost is a good one to just put on and kind of forget you have it. If you're feeling overwhelmed by all the options, you can't go wrong with this one. Same with Hard Coded. It just makes status effects affect you less, so you can't go wrong with that one either. But some of them, like Energy Conversion, actually give you like an extra ability almost. Energy Conversion, you can see if I shield and press the interact button, which is X, then I can convert my energy into health. And then there's ultimates, which I'll go over in a future video. And there's outfits too. These outfits are influencing my stats. This one has 2 extra jump on it, which you can see up here. And for every 2 jump, you can get 1 extra jump on your character. We also have a headgear crown here, which is influencing my speed. So you see I can go a lot faster with it. I'm not gonna do that though, because it's really hard to play with. But yeah, so that's actual combat working in the game. Again, I know people have been dying to see it, and I hope it's worth it. I think it's really cool. You can do some really cool combos with it. This is not Smash Bros. I know it kind of looks like a platform fighter, but we're really trying to do our own thing here, which you can tell based on how the combos work and how the movement is. It's not terribly movement focused like Smash Bros is. You only have 1 jump by default. So having extra jump is kind of a nice thing. We'll work to balance the game via the Steam Early Access. If you want to play the game when it goes into Early Access, please wishlist on Steam. We're taking everybody's input when it goes in Early Access in order to balance the game and make it the best as possible. We know there's going to be problems, like we know that players who have Players who have like extra jump or extra speed just have a lot more stage control in general. So things like that are things we're working on balancing, but we can't do it without your guys' help. So early access is going to be up in November. Right now there's a Kickstarter you can back if you want to be part of the game's future. You can design some cool parts for the game, get early access, become a VIP, that kind of stuff if you do the Kickstarter. I mentioned early access. I don't mean Steam early access. I mean there's like a VIP, like you can get weekly builds of the game versus the Steam's early access, which is only every 3 months. And then you can also like be in a special channel with the developers where you can give them direct feedback. There's a lot of cool bonuses for Kickstarter people. And then finally, we have a Discord server. If you could join the Discord server too, if you think this looks like a cool game, please do. We have some amazing people on there, and we would love to have even more amazing people. The game is playable right now on itch. It doesn't have all these things you see here. It has like 90% of it. It just doesn't have the blaster or some of the sword attacks, and doesn't have the cool like knockback trails and that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna be adding that very soon though. I just need to push this to itch, which I'm not gonna do until I have the blaster finished. And then it doesn't have any online yet, so if you want to play, you have to play with a real person and touch some grass. But online will also be added very soon. I'm very close to getting it working. I'm fixing some very small things now. But yeah, that's the game. There's other cool things I didn't show off, which you can check out if you play the game for yourself. Yeah, this is Fusion Fighters. Thanks for watching.